Hey everyone. So we're going to be setting up our DWC totes. So as you can see, this one's got the air stone in it. Wish I could get it to stay in the bottom a little bit better, but that's alright. It is still aerating. So, alright, so we are going to, before we add anything, we are going to test everything. So this is my pH meter. I just turned it on. And that's all it reads is pH. Well, it reads temperature too, but I'm only concerned with the pH. So now this has been sitting here for quite some time. This has been a few weeks, probably, this water. And at least a good week with the air bubbles. So now this is actually reading, I'll put it on hold. This is actually reading 9.1. for the pH. Okay, so we're not going to adjust pH yet because that's going to change once we add nutrients. I just wanted to get a ballpark of where we were. So now this is the ppm and EC meter. So what we're going to do is turn it on. Now this defaults to EC, the MS scale. So we're going to see what the water is before we do any adjusting. So that is reading 0.4. Put that on hold. So that's reading 0.4. Hopefully you can see that. And I am going to look at what the ppms are as well. So it's 181. Give it a minute to settle in there. Alright, looks like it stopped moving. It's 177 ppm. So we need to remember those numbers. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our MaxiGrow, since this is the MaxiGrow tote. And like I said, these are 3-gallon totes, and there's about a little over 2 gallons. So we're going to start. Okay, so I have a little bit of lukewarm water here. So we are going to put one of the teaspoons. Yeah, there's a tablespoon and a teaspoon. This is supposed to be 1 teaspoon per gallon. So I'm going to put 1 in there. And I'm going to stir that up. Try to make sure everything is dissolved. Try not to get any sediment this time in here. Just holding it up to the light. And it's not all dissolved yet. Okay, that's looking pretty good. There's a little bit in the middle, but I think that should dissolve out in the water. We're going to dump that in, rinse that out, and we're going to stir that around. It doesn't look like everything dissolved. But it should have done a pretty good job. And the air is going to help mix it up too with the air running. Actually, I don't know what that sounds like. Let me turn that off for now. Okay. So now we're going to get another reading for the ppm, EC, and see what we're at. Oh, let me do that. I want to get to the EC. Okay. So we started out with 0.4. EC for lettuce is about 1.4. So we need 1.8. And we are currently at 1.2. Put that on hold. You can say it's 1.2. Hopefully. So let's see. It went up 0.8. So now if we did another 0.8, we would be at 2. So we don't want to go that high. So we are going to get another bit of water, lukewarm water. And I'm going to do about another half a teaspoon. Let's see where that gets us. So that's you can probably see in the light, half a teaspoon. We're going to put that in there, mix that up, and see where that gets us. Now I confirmed all these. I know CB at CB's Greenhouse and Garden, he is the hydroponic guru. He'll probably say he's not, but he is. I confirmed all the measurements with him. And he actually uses a blender to mix his stuff up, which probably works a lot better. I don't currently have a blender, but this is looking like this one looks like it's mixed fairly well here. So I mean, there still looks like some white stuff floating around, but it doesn't look like that's going to dissolve. Some little tiny flecks. So we're going to add that, stir it up, and check what we got. Okay. Take that off hold. Looks like it only went up to 1.5. Which is kind of odd. I would have expected it about 1.6. Oops, I can let me get that. So it went up to 1.5. So I need it to at 1.8. So that went up 3. So maybe a whole another teaspoon would have done it. So now we'll add another half a teaspoon. It's about what I did last time when I got to 0.3, which is what we want. So we want another 0.3. Fungus gnat flew into my water. I'm still struggling with those. I did cover the, it looked like most of them were coming from the tomato plant, the small micro dwarf tomato that I have growing. So I covered it with aluminum foil, hoping that would keep them out long enough so they die off. It seems like it's reduced the population quite a bit. I see 1 or 2 here or there, but they are still around, just not as bad as they were. Lots of stirring. Okay. It's right at 1.8. So it looks like the 2 teaspoons should have done it. So right at 0.8. So we wanted 1.4 for the lettuce to show that's how much nutrient is in there. Plus I had 0.4 in my plain water, so for a total of 0.8. Okay. So that is that one. So we're going to power that one off. Oh, you know what? I wanted to check the what the ppm was. That's not it. Okay, it looks like it stopped fluctuating at 865. So ppm is 865, EC is 1.8. Now we're going to see what it did to the pH by adding the nutrients. Now I know Masterblend drops the pH. I'm not exactly sure what this does. I would assume it should drop, but so we're sitting about 6.6. So lettuce can run about 6, 5.8 to 6. So we're going to have to very cautiously drip some of this in there. Now you got to be careful with this because this is acid. It lowers the pH of your water, so it is actually an acid. So if you get it on your hands, you want to wash your hands quick. So we're going to put probably 2 drops. Because I don't have any pH up, so if I go too far, it's not going to be good. Well, that didn't drop as much as I thought it would. So right now, those 2 drops put us at 6.5. So it dropped at 0.1. So I would say if you'd want to go 0.5, you put 10 drops, but I'm not going to do that. I'll put a couple, 2 or 3 more drops. Like I said, I don't have any pH up, so if I go too far, I can't come back. I mean, I could put baking soda in it to bring it back up, but I would prefer not to. So we're going to put probably another 3 or 4. And then we'll stir that in there. So that's still saying 6.5, so that can't be right. So I'm going to turn that on, let that help me mix it up a little bit. I'm going to let that sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to test it again. Okay, so we're going to add a few more drops here. What, 5? So I got 5 in there. Gonna mix that. Still not sure why it didn't change at all from the last time, but this is not that much water. I would think a couple drops would make a difference. Yep, 6.4. I don't understand how that's not changing. Okay, there's 10 drops. So what I did was I actually just spun around and tested the water in my other tote that's right out of my tap. That's another video, but one of my totes I emptied and put fresh water in there a few days ago, and it's reading 7.1. So it looks like the meter is reading properly. I just don't know why it's not going down very much. Maybe it's not as potent as I thought it was. Alright, that's still reading 6.4, so I have to do some testing before I continue adding. Alright, so I just have some tap water. I'll set the meter in here. And it is reading 7.4. which is about what it should be reading. So now I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 drops in that little bit of water. I'm going to swish it around, splash it all over me. Make sure it gets mixed in real good. Sit for a second. Meter went off. So that is now reading 2.7. Which that was quite a few drops in that little bit of water, so it should have made a big difference. So we'll test this one again. So it is still reading 6.4. So I know the meter's working. I know this stuff is working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, see what that does. Now it's just, I believe everything is working properly. I believe the meter is reading properly. I believe there's nothing wrong with the pH down. So now it's just going to be adding until we get enough in there. Right now it's fluctuating between 6.1 and 6.2. It's reading 6.1 now. So that was 20 drops. So I'm thinking this should hopefully put me around 5.9, 5.8. Now it seems to be staying pretty consistent. .8. So that's good. Now I'm just going to test my EC one more time. Make sure that's stayed 1.4, which it should have, but oops, not on EC. Okay, so the EC is reading 1.7. So I was looking for 1.8, 1.7 should be just fine. Alright, so we're at 5.8 for the pH and 1.7 for the EC. So I'm going to say that should be good for nutrients and pH for this grow. So we'll move this guy back where he belongs. Leave the air stone. Now this really doesn't have, I'll try to bring you in closer, hopefully you'll see. It really doesn't have any sediment in there. See if I can block out some of that light. No, not really. See if we get a different angle. Really no sediment in there at all. So we will see what happens. We'll check it. I'll do another update in probably about a week. We'll be able to see if there's any sediment. Now 3 of these are actually doing good. There's 3 roots. The one in the back is not. Make sure that root gets in the water. So I don't think the one in the back here is going to make it. It's not looking very good at all. And it doesn't look like it had a really good root down in the water. And it is no longer touching the net cup, so if they fall behind, they lose. I do have some, so that's the bronze Mignet. I do have a couple in this tote that you're sitting on here that has a few in there. Maybe I'll try to cut that in half and put one of these guys over in this other tote. That way I'll at least have 4 heads of lettuce in there. Alright, well this has been a longer video than normal, but just wanted to bring you along. I'm going to do the Masterblend one next. I'll probably post a new video on that if anybody's interested, just because this video is going a little bit long. So next one will be mixing the Masterblend and seeing how that affects the pH and all that kind of good stuff. Alright, so hopefully you guys found this interesting. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, please click the like button, please subscribe, and leave me a comment. Alright, till next time, grow something. See ya.